going on, dudes and dudettes? Excuse the hair, but want to get this video up for Thursday just because the Chargers schedule release was on Wednesday officially, and I did a pretty cool video on social media. The Chargers social media account did, but want to get through everybody that they're playing against and exactly when, which weeks, and if they have any primetime games as well. But also wanted to get into something real quick. They did make a move. They did sign the outside linebacker Chris Collins, who I believe is from the University of Minnesota, but they did end up waiving outside linebacker Brevin Allen as well. So, yeah, I guess I forget if Collins was a guy they just recently added as an undrafted free agent or anything like that, but I guess they saw a little bit more talent in him than the last regime who had Brevin Allen. So, yeah, we'll see where he ends up officially, if he does end up on the 53-man roster or not. And getting into that schedule, yeah, it's pretty daunting in some parts, and it looks like it's pretty easy in some parts, like I said, because they had a higher pick in this year's draft. They're going to get a little bit of an easier schedule, but when you look at the rankings from last year compared to this year, the teams are different. Like Atlanta was bad last year, but they did revamp that offense, and they have a lot more better players and stuff, so that's going to be a weirder game later in the year. But I'll get into who they start in their home opener and the very first game of the season. They're going to be playing against the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to go on the road the next 2 weeks at Carolina Panthers, then at the Steelers. They come back home against the Chiefs. Then they get an early bye week, which does suck. You always wish for a later bye week, but I guess we'll have to deal with that. And then they go back on the road again at Denver, then at Arizona Cardinals for Monday Night Football. I believe that's going to be a doubleheader. Then they come back home for the New Orleans Saints, go back on the road for the Cleveland Browns, come back home for 3 straight games. They have the Tennessee Titans, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens on Monday nights. Then they go on the road again at Atlanta, at Kansas City, which will be a Sunday Night Football game. Come back home for a couple games, have Tampa Bay Bucks, then the Denver Broncos, and then finish on the road at New England and at the Las Vegas Raiders. So, yeah, overall, pretty interesting schedule. I thought everybody always build, since they're in the same draft class, Burrow and Herbert. I thought that game might have been some type of primetime game, and I was also kind of surprised, too, that the Chargers don't play any Thursday Night Football games, which is pretty interesting because I always thought at least every NFL team had to play that, but they escape that fate of having to play on Thursday night, and they don't have to play in one of those London or Germany or now even Brazil games, which is pretty crazy, those, out of the country games. So yeah, either way, it's good enough for them. But yeah, that big time matchup in the middle of the year against the Baltimore Ravens. Luckily, it is at home, so it's going to be the Harbaugh Bowl, which obviously they recently, I guess the most recent one was when they faced each other in the Super Bowl, like almost more than a decade ago now. But yeah, of course, the NFL had to have them play against each other the very first season that Jim Harbaugh is back, and most likely the Chargers will be going back out over there to finish up the series. I forget if the Chargers played over there last year or not, but yeah, I guess we'll see next year what ends up happening. But I believe also the Chargers are going to be having like the most miles in because of their schedule. They have like 26,803 miles that they have to travel with this schedule, which is pretty crazy. They're obviously number one, but I guess you kind of get that because you're playing some of the worst teams that were considered last year. But hopefully that ends up helping them in their schedule. I think they said like a lot of people believe the Chargers could be 4-0 heading into their bye week. That Kansas City game is always a little bit tough, but that first one, the Chargers can usually get them, so I guess they could be 4-0 by that bye week. And then you have a mismatch of other teams that are kind of contenders and not contenders who were pretty bad last year. And then I don't know why that Monday night game is against Arizona. It's kind of weird, but either way, at least get some primetime games and all that throughout the season. So I still believe they can make the season just because this schedule is supposedly weaker. But either way, should be pretty fun to see where this team ends up, and rooting for them for the most part. But if it gets, those Chargers struggles, then it's probably going to be hard to watch and root for them towards the end of the season, especially when they still have to go on the road to Kansas City and then play, I think they still play like the Broncos and Vegas as well, or even the Patriots too. So yeah, that'll be a tough game all the way out there in New England. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bolt up.